Hello everyone, we have crossed the bridge, the elections came and went. Please let me know what you are hoping for and expecting in the 2024 elections. Welcome back to Citizen Concerned, where we remind you to beware of the comrades. I'm Katlego and I'm happy to be back here. So I don't know what you guys think of the results, but some people think that we might find ourselves in a worse situation than we were before the elections. Other people think that because the ANC scored less than 51%, we find ourselves in a better situation than we were before the elections. Personally, I have a feeling that the ANC is still in charge, which is not far from what we were expecting. I think when we consider that we started our work 8 months before the elections, we sort of anticipated that we would not fully get the ANC out of power in 2024, right? We're grateful that the voters came and changed the political landscape, but they also did not change it as much as we would have liked, right? What I was hoping for was that the multi-party charter would win. But judging from their efforts in the last few months, deep down, I didn't really expect it. So hope and expectations were not fully aligned. I was hoping that the parties that like the free market and the constitution would go beyond the 51% mark, but unfortunately they failed. At the end of the day, we find that the multi-party charter did not only fail, but now the entire country is at the mercy of different versions of the ANC. What do I mean? Unfortunately, most South Africans still believe in the corrupt ANC. They don't all believe in the same ANC, but they believe in the ANC. Some believe in the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa, others believe in the ANC of Jacob Zuma, and others believe in the ANC of Julius Malema. The ANC, MK, and EFF, these are different versions of the ANC. They are parties that were born from the ANC. All these people used to be members of the ANC. So for me, it is truly sad to see that my fellow citizens have chosen to stick to these openly racist parties. They've chosen to stick with the parties that have no idea what it takes to make our country prosper. We worked hard, guys. We made videos, you shared the videos, we shouted at the top of our voices, and at the end of it all, the ANC remains in charge. These different versions of the ANC, when combined, make up 64% of the results. Regardless of whatever we may have done, the results are showing that the racist parties, the most incompetent parties, and the most corrupt parties in this country have won the minds and hearts of our people. But instead of being discouraged by the current reality, we should be even more encouraged to make more videos to educate more citizens about what it takes to make South Africa prosper and to counter racism with love and unity. Jacob Zuma, who is the leader of the MK party, does not want to leave the original ANC.
Your father still a member of the ANC?
Yes, he is.
But what does it mean for MK when your leader says he is still a member of another political party?
We trust his judgment, he's very wise.
Do you think it's a good thing though? Would that be let off the hook for everybody else of the MK party to be a member of the MK and another political party?
There's only one godfather.
So that is only for him?
Exactly.
He still proclaims to be the leader of the ANC. He's just not happy about the current leader of the ANC.
So ANC, are they a progressive black party? Not?
They are not. For as long as they still run by the ANC Ramaphosa, they're not with us.
So in no uncertain terms, does that mean that you are not open to coalition talks with the ANC?
That's everything else.
So basically, he's simply an enemy of the Ramaphosa group within the original ANC. Julius Malema said he would not leave the ANC. He had to be booted out of the ANC. The MK party is worse than the original ANC, just like the EFF is worse than the original ANC. The ANC is horrible, yes, but these new smaller versions of the ANC are a sign that we definitely need to tread carefully now more than ever. Imagine if the MK party or the EFF were in the current position of the original ANC. Do you think they would have accepted that 40% as peacefully and respectfully as the ANC has? I don't think so. While I dislike the ANC, I would like to commend them for being honorable in accepting the voice of the people and not blaming rigging and other things for their 40%. At the core of things, the EFF and the MK parties are a serious danger to this country if things go sideways from here onwards. The MK party is led by a president that was removed from office because he was the most corrupt person the ANC had ever seen. A man who gave over the control of South Africa to Indian foreigners. A man who chose to become a puppet of the Gupta family instead of being a servant of his people. A man who hates our laws, our constitution, and the way we vote to choose leaders. The MK party is a party that during these very same elections, the first elections they ever participated in, tried to disrupt the elections by sharing and circulating lies about vote rigging.
There's a lot of issues in terms of how the IEC has managed this process that have raised serious flags and concerns for us. And also, it correlated with what we've picked up on the ground in terms of the voting stations, as it pertains to the slips. Yeah. So there's just, at this point, no confidence in what is happening on that screen. And we are effectively requesting a recount and we're rejecting what you're seeing at the back of us right now.
And even when the voters and other political parties wanted to move on, they kept trying to instigate violence through these talks of election rigging, all while refusing to share unquestionable evidence of this alleged rigging.
Nobody must force us to say now this is what are as a result. But the results are not correct. I think the institutions must satisfy us that they did look into the issues. We are going to need the time. Nobody must declare. If that happens, people will be provoking us because we know what we are talking about. We are not guessing. We know. And why should they rush to count? And I'm hoping whoever is responsible is hearing what we are saying. Don't start trouble when there is no trouble.
The same parties with the most untrustworthy people in South Africa are the only witnesses of the vote rigging.
These results are completely, it's not just a story. The results are cooked. And we have engaged. Let me take you to Kronstadt or Excelsior. There are ballot boxes and the ballot boxes are empty, but there are results given to us and other parties as ACT. Excelsior is our strong base, so you can't try and rob us there. So that's where the boxes are missing. So we have been monitoring this. You can go to Velcom, you can go to our base in Mangaung. Out of 134,000, we are getting 890. On the ground, that is not a true reflection.
The same parties with questionable characters and histories are the same parties we must trust that there was vote rigging.
Celebrating corruption. What corruption? They are here to celebrate corruption. 1 million that came through corruption. 1 million that came through corruption. It's 1 million that came through corruption. It's 1 million that came through corruption. What is this? How to celebrate 1 million that came through corruption. We have stolen the vote. You celebrate 1 million that came through corruption. You are celebrating 1 million. That came through corruption. That is the fact of the matter. You did not win this election.
The MK party which faked the signatures of the list provided to the IEC. That one. It's the one whose allegations we have to believe without unquestionable evidence. Aye? Thank God that citizens did not go wild on these allegations, because things could have gone sideways from that. If there was vote rigging, and even if there was no vote rigging, I think this issue needs to be taken to court. This needs to be investigated, and if the IEC is found wanting, then heads must roll. Whether the vote rigging allegations are baseless or true, this is not an issue that should be ignored. If the MK Party, the EFF, and the Patriotic Alliance believe that there was any cheating, then they should take the matter to court. If the ANC is definitely sure that there was no cheating, they need to come clean up this mess and clean up their name and the integrity of the IEC.
And in the top of your bulletin this hour, the Electoral Commission has dismissed allegations of vote rigging ahead of the first day of special voting tomorrow. This after videos circulated on social media with MK members alleging that irregularities occurred with the delivery of voting material in the Durban area. In the videos, ballot boxes, voting ink and scanners can be seen. In a statement, the Commission explained that these were planned logistical arrangements and storage of the election material ahead of the special voting on Monday and Tuesday. It further reiterated that vehicles distributing ballot papers are escorted by the South African Police Service to local storage sites. The IEC has also accused the MK Party of unauthorized entry into the Commission's warehouse and strongly condemned the threatening of their staff.
Now we're receiving a lot of complaints and information from our party agents where result slips that are compiled by presiding officers are not in line with what we've been presented and recorded by our party agents, and that also directly impacts on the numbers that you are seeing behind us. So in a potential or primarily we are saying now we don't recognize these results, we object them. We are calling for immediate manual counting because this has infringed on the rights of South Africans, to decide a government of their choice.
One of the biggest problems within our country is that there are no repercussions for false allegations. People make accusations against their opposition or against people they dislike for whatever reason, and they never go to jail. Our institutions need to do their jobs and need to do their jobs well. If accusations like this show up, then it does not make sense to ignore them and keep quiet. Address it with urgency, come back with results from the investigation, and let citizens know the facts.
The distribution of those ballots was happening in terms of our approved logistical plan. People from a political party, MK in particular, gained access into that facility and started taking unauthorized videos of that facility, demanding to take the serial numbers of the boxes and so on. As a result, we have had to withdraw from that storage site and return back those ballots to the provincial warehouse. It is part of the plan that we get ballots closer to where voting is going to be happening. Because if you don't do that and distribute from one central point, you probably are not going to be able to open on time. So it is part of the logistical plan that 2 days or so before you move your ballots closer to where they're going to be used. That's point number one. Point number two, there's also videos of bulk material like voting compartments, packed ballot boxes, a pack of 3 and so on. Those have already been delivered at the voting station. Again, to avoid a situation where on the morning of election, you have to be transporting them. So people are going into this voting station, taking videos and saying, these are ballot papers. And I think we want to warn, in particular, leaders of political parties, that obstructing the work of the Commission is, in fact, a violation of the Electoral Code of Conduct and other provisions of the Electoral Act.
The ANC may be bad, but these are the worst kinds of parties we can ever want running our country. They are hostile. They are disorderly. They prefer intimidation and chaos to get themselves at the top of any issue. But hey, fellow citizens voted for them. Our fellow citizens have chosen parties led by the most questionable people in our political landscape. If their personalities and characters were the only issue, it would have been better. But what makes it worse is that they also believe in policies that are hostile towards businesses, job creation, and poverty alleviation. As if that's not enough, these are parties and people who have been known to deceive, to be selfish, to murder each other, to lie, to create chaos. Typical ANC behavior. In conclusion, the ANC is still in charge. The three ANCs have the majority, but fortunately for us, these three ANCs still hate each other. We need to work hard to make sure that we awaken more South African citizens to the dangers of these parties going forward. I believe it's possible. We cannot leave it to the opposition parties we currently have. For some reason, they fail to understand the importance of investing resources into freeing the minds of the citizens who vote for these three ANCs. While we wait for the opposition parties to prioritize educating our fellow citizens, we will have to do it ourselves. While we have three ANCs, there are two factions within the original ANC. The first faction is the one on President Cyril Ramaphosa's side, but there is a faction that will gladly work with the MK party and the EFF.
Well, when President Zuma made the announcement December 16, he spoke about working with progressive black parties. So that's where we stand. As long as you're wanting land back, nationalization, we'll be engaged.
I don't even want to say what could happen if these three ANCs work together. These three ANCs have been on a clear mission to prime and crank our black South Africans to become more and more racist towards white people. And any black person who does not support this is looked at as an outcast. Business people are treated as though they are the enemies of people. These three versions of the ANC, along with the trade unions, are responsible for this deception and this division. The people keep voting for them, not realizing that these are the same people who are responsible for the suffering that we as a country are going through right now. Indeed, people perish for lack of knowledge. Let us take it upon ourselves to share the necessary knowledge to help our fellow citizens, our nation, and ultimately ourselves. 64% of the voters believe the lies, guys. 64%, which means we have a lot of work to do, and we will do it. 64% means the multi-party charter achieved very, very little. Since the original ANC has lost the majority and the MK hates President Cyril Ramaphosa, I would like to say we are safe. The EFF does not have enough to prop up the original ANC, so we're good there too. It appears the country is sitting on the edge of a knife, but miracles do happen. So please, let's keep praying for God's peace, protection, and prosperity over South Africa. Thank you for watching, guys. I'm Katlego. This is Citizen Concerned. And until next time, beware of the comrades.